Larry Nelson is joined by the illustrious Sheik Adnan Kassie, who's hyping up the crowd for the impending body slam showdown between Kamala and Jerry Blackwell. The Sheik promises that Kamala will deliver and the Arab people will finally get what they've been craving. It's worth noting that Adnan's English has never sounded more fluent than it does here in the AWA. UAWA, a far cry from his WWF days. As Kamala's entrance music fills the air, complete with safari-inspired sound effects, it's striking to see the wrestlers mingling with the fans without any sense of tension or danger. No one's trying to take a swing at them or, stab them with a knife. It's a refreshingly laid-back atmosphere. Next up, Jerry Blackwell makes his way to the ring, tipping the scales at a whopping 472 pounds. The guy looks like he just stepped out of a lost episode of The Walking Dead. Blackwell vows to chop off Kamala's nose if he gets too close, and then, well, eat it, because why not? Jerry Blackwell, the epitome of class and sophistication. I mean, who wouldn't want to be known as Jerry Black, not well? The stakes are high, with a $10,000 prize on the line for the winner of this body slam challenge. But here's the thing. Was this a traditional wrestling stipulation, or did Vern Gagnon borrow it from Vince McMahon 6 months after WrestleMania? It's hard to believe that Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd was the first ever body slam match. Vern seems to have a habit of cherry-picking weird elements from WrestleMania to incorporate into his own events, like Super Clash. As Adnan leads the new Heenan family in the American Wrestling Association, the announcer requests complete silence for the Arabian national anthem. Adnan belts out the tune with gusto, while Kamala stands by, looking utterly perplexed. Blackwell, on the other hand, sports a scowl that could curdle milk at 50 paces. Where's his "Don't Tread on Me" flag? And what's with the lack of serpent symbolism? The bell rings and the match is underway. Both competitors start exchanging head chops, with Blackwell taking the brunt of the punishment. It's like he's on the receiving end of a never-ending buffet of Uganda-style chops, courtesy of Kamala's Chop House. According to Larry Nelson's tell, all book Stranglehold, he had developed a close relationship with Wally Carbo, the notorious pimp king of the wrestling world. But little did anyone know that Wally's reputation for being a shady payday guy was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, Wally was living a life of luxury, with a new stunning companion waiting for him at every airport, courtesy of his high-end escort service. These weren't your average groupies either. Wally's girls were always impeccably dressed, well-spoken, and arrived in style, chauffeured by a sleek late model Cadillac. Meanwhile, back at the match, Nelson was seated ringside, clutching a dubious-looking check for $10,000, which was probably only good for a fraction of its face value, given Wally's questionable business practices. As the action unfolded, Kamala and Jerry Blackwell clashed in a chaotic body slam challenge, with Blackwell's imposing figure teetering precariously near Nelson's table. Blackwell, a man of considerable girth, cut a comical figure, his movements resembling a slow-motion train wreck. His antics were so over the top that it was hard to tell if he was a wrestler or a TV evangelist, minus the charisma. At one point, he even attempted to open up a fictional Stone Mountain Chop Houses and Grill, which was likely to shut down entire city blocks with his voracious appetite. As the match raged on, Kamala and Blackwell engaged in a series of sloppy slams and splashes, with Blackwell looking like a beached whale on the canvas. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Blackwell suddenly sprang to life, unleashing a flurry of lefts and rights, culminating in a thunderous slam that sent the crowd into raptures. In the end, Blackwell emerged victorious, claiming the $10,000 prize in a staggering 9 minutes and 54 seconds. But the real drama was yet to come, as Adnan Kassie stormed into the ring, wielding a sword, or rather the handle of a sword, because who brings a blade to a wrestling match? The absurdity of it all was a perfect coda to this bizarre, entertaining spectacle. Nelson's voice dripped with sarcasm as he described the scene unfolding before him. Wally Carbo was on the verge of a meltdown because Adnan had swiped the check right out of his hand. Of course, he wouldn't willingly part with that kind of cash. like slipping it into his pocket and making a hasty exit to meet his mistress at the DoubleTree. Meanwhile, Kamala was busy chomping down on Blackwell's head like it was a juicy burger. The crowd was on the edge of their seats, ready to erupt into chaos. That's when Baron von Raschke burst onto the scene, ready to break up the brawl. Blackwell was left bleeding and writhing on the canvas, his face contorted in agony like a post-Thanksgiving food coma. Sheik Adnan Al, Kassie made a grand entrance, promising to shake things up in the AWA with his latest surprise. Kamala? Nelson tried to move on, but Adnan cut him off with a fiery Arabic rant. Blackwell shot back, warning Adnan to keep his nose out of his business, or else. The stakes were high, with a $10,000 check on the line for the winner. After Kamala's introduction, Adnan launched into another promo, this time asking the crowd to fall silent so he could belt out the Arabian national anthem. Or was it the Russian one? The geography was a bit fuzzy. The match itself was a body slam battle, with the winner taking home the coveted $10,000 prize. Sheik Adnan was Kamala's manager du jour, and he promised a big surprise at all. The crowd ate it up, though, and Blackwell's popularity was undeniable, even if he never did snag the world title. The post-match shenanigans were pure chaos. Al, Kassie, and Kamala unleashed a sword, wielding beatdown on Blackwell, with Baron von Raschke finally riding to the rescue with a trusty ball bat. It was a wild ride, and the crowd lapped it up like the good old days.